What's up guys, John here with Malevolent, bringing you a deck profile for my deck. I just got done playing LCS number 15, and I managed to finish in the top 8. I believe it was 15, could be wrong on that. Anyway, I'm bringing you a paper version of the deck, or a deck in person, because I have the same deck as the one I played built in real life, and I thought you guys might enjoy this a little bit more than looking at a screen on Dueling Network. Also, I did a deck profile for the DB grinder, but my audio was kind of bad on my end, and so I figured I would record my own, post it on the channel so that you could hear my reasoning on my cards, basically. So yeah, before I start, I will give some shout outs to my team. First and foremost, Malevolent. Big shout out to Evan and Luis for allowing me to play in this event. And then my teammates, Giovanni, Paco, Sam, Elvis, Rodrigo, Georgie, Luca, and Marlon. A special big shout outs to Rodrigo and Georgie for being my main testing partners. And Georgie also finished in the top 8 for this event, so that was pretty sweet. So 2 of us in the top 8 was a pretty good event for us. So let's get into the deck. I guess I'll tell you what I played actually. In my 10 rounds, that being 8 of Swiss and then top 16 and top 8, I played against 2 Dragon Link, 2 Prank Kids, 2 Virtual World, 2 Drytron, and 2 Tribrigade mirror matches. So all 2 ofs. So yeah, let's get into the deck. 3 Rescue Cat. I'm playing the Rescue Cat version of Tribrigade. I think I just really like having this one powerful card. I like 1-card combos and decks that just play tons of hand traps, and I'm playing, just a mountain of hand traps. And so hand trapping them to really simplify the game state and then just summoning your 1-card blowout is pretty strong. And it pretty much held true this event. This card was amazing. For the Tribrigades, got the wrong one there. We got 3 Fractal, 3 Nerval, 3 Kit, and 2 Karis. This is a pretty standard lineup. Some people do elect to play 3 Karis, but I like just 2. I think that I don't really want to be drawing this card in general. There's definitely hands where drawing it's good, but in general, I want to be searching it. I want to be summoning it off Rescue Cat. But when I draw it on its own, it doesn't do anything. I need to draw it with like Kit or Nerval. And so if I'm hand trapping them and simplifying the game state a ton, I don't want my 1 card that's like my own engine to be Karis. So I'm only running 2. Hand traps, try and see if I can fit them all on the screen at once. 3 Nib, 3 Veiler, 3 Bell, 3 Ash Blossom, 2 Phantasme, and a DD Crow. So we'll go through them one at a time. DD Crow is here because it's not the greatest hand trap this format. That's pretty obvious, but it is a winged beast, which means that it's searchable by Omen, and 1 Rescue Cat combo that you can do turn 1 will end you on Appaloosa with 2 counters, a set revolt, and then a Omen search. And so if you want that Omen search to be a defensive card, you have DD Crow to grab. I'm playing 2 Phantasme, and the rest of my hand trap lineup is pretty much based around this card. I thought it might be better for this event than it turned out to be. It really wasn't that great because 4 out of my 6 rounds were against decks it's just utterly useless against. But essentially, just being able to fix your hand and grab appropriate hand traps with this card when your opponent does their initial, Link 1 play or whatever, or in the case of Tribrigade, summons their first Link monster off their Tribrigades, you can summon this. Against Prank Kids and Dragon Link, especially, it's pretty good. You can, you have the option to wait, against Dragon Link, potentially draw more cards, but you can also just do it on their first Link 1 play and try and fix your hand before they really get going. Ash, pretty ubiquitous. I don't think I need to really explain Ash, it just negates a ton of things. Bell hits a lot of things you wouldn't expect. I hit a pre-prep of Rites because that card can add the ritual monster from grave to hand. I hit a Lao. You can just hits a lot of different things. It's sort of like another Ash. But the main reason that I really like this card is in the mirror match, you can hit Revolt, which is obviously the strongest, pretty much the strongest card in the mirror match. 3 Veiler, just, you know, all around good hand trap, especially hitting Tribrigade cards. It was pretty not so great this event because, like I said, I mean, I played against, you know, 2 virtual worlds and 2, two of the, I can't remember what the name of the deck right now, but the card is pretty useless against a little bit of the field. Prank Kids, that's what I'm trying to say. So with this card against Prank Kids, like what you can do is you can hit the Doodle Doo, the Link 2, when they're trying to search, and you stop them from adding a card, but they can kind of circumvent it a lot because they can just link into another Doodle Doo and then use its effect to add back. And so you're only really stopping half the effect and you're just trading a 1-for-1. It's really not that great a lot of the time. Nibiru, all around just good card. It was pretty awesome today. It just hits seemingly like everything. Even in the mirror where sometimes you might think it's not that great, it can hit, you know, if they do the Rescue Cat play, you can drop it and it's pretty backbreaking. And yeah, just a really good card all around. Especially, another good application with this card in this deck is that if you set up your turn 1 board and they kind of break it and you nib, when play passes back to you, if you just have this card and a Tribrigade, it's game, because you can summon the Tribrigade, banish 3 for a Link 3, and then make access code, and the 3k plus the 53 from access code is game. Spell cards. Standard Tribrigade stuff. You'll see this in a lot of Tribrigade decks. 3 Tenki, 3 Desires, and a Callby. Some people play Prosperity. I like Desires better because this deck, the combos don't really generate that much card advantage. You actually will frequently go down to like 4 cards on your turn 1. So I like being able to just draw cards. And the deck's like all 3 ofs, it's pretty consistent, so Desires almost never hurts. Also, 3 Desires is fine because if you draw multiples, you can put them back with Bear Brum or Fairjit. Call by hit hand traps, the Tenki. Tenki is extra important in my deck, but I'll talk about that a little bit more in the side. The last spell, I actually played Monster Reborn. I never thought I'd be explaining Reborn as a tech choice, and you know, since I've been playing the game a while, and the card is pretty considered pretty powerful back in the day, but now it's seemingly kind of out there. So this lets you kind of circumvent one of the problems with Tribrigade, which is just a lack of extenders. Really, with Tribrigade, you have your 1 normal summon, and then you have Karis as your 1 extender, and that's it. If your opponent has answers for those 2 plays, you're pretty much not playing that turn. So Monster Reborn lets you circumvent that. Monster Reborn also has a cool application with this card and playing around Veiler and Imperm. If you normal summon this, it'll frequently get met with a Veiler or Imperm, very popular hand traps this format. And so what you can do is you can just link this into All Mirage and then play Reborn on the cat. And since obviously you didn't ever try to use the effect, they just Veilered it on summon, then you can go ahead and do this. What this allows you to do is essentially just, you know, because the deck lacks extenders, getting your cat negated does kind of suck because you really only have Karis to allow you to continue playing. But this Reborn just lets you, you know, run it back and make them, force them to have another answer to your cat summon. Then the last cards that I played in the main deck were the only traps, 3 Revolt, pretty standard. I thought I'd just mention one more time, because you might be noticing the lack of Imperm in this deck. The reason I did it is just because I wanted my deck to be based around Phantasme, and I wanted all my hand traps to work with Phantasme when I drew them, when I had an established board already. Or, you know, even if I'm going second and don't have a board and I just Phantasme and I draw them, I didn't want to play Imperm or Gamma because of that and not be able to use them with my Phantasme. on to the side deck now. I guess I'll show the side before the extra because it'll help explain some things. 3 Cycle Reader, 3 Lancia, 3 spell and trap removal cards, essentially, even though this has applications hitting like opposing Appaloosas and stuff. And then 3 go first, no spells type effects, the Imperial Order and the 3 anti-spell. So Lancia, essentially for the mirror match, but it can hit some rogue decks like dinosaurs and, you know, it has applications against Virtual World. I cited it in, and it was really good in that matchup. Phantom Knights, it's some very rogue decks. The main strength of this card is I was expecting more Tribrigade than I ended up playing against, and it's very strong in that matchup. Just not even allowing them to, you know, make a link play at all. Whereas with a card like Contact C, which is the other consideration for the mirror match, is that you have to wait until they use their Tribrigade effect and then you drop it, and then they have a board of, you know, Tribrigade, Bear Brum / Fairjit, and like Contact C, and you have to break through all that. This, they're gonna summon their Tribrigade, I'm gonna Lancia, and they're just gonna pass and like, you know, Kit or Karis. And so that's why I went with Lancia. I kind of wish I had Contact C though, because I ended up playing against multiple prank kids. The Cycle Readers, essentially just for Drytron. Not as backbreaking now as it was before, because the deck has evolved into playing Dragoon now. And so, like my round 3 opponent, I, game 3, used a very powerful Cycle Reader against him to completely shut down his Drytron plays, and he just linked his last 2 monsters into Dragoon, and the lack of extenders in this deck just makes it very hard unless you have the correct opening to play through a Dragoon. And if it's backed up by like Herald of Orange Light or Eva, it's like nigh impossible. So the back row removal, you can side it in the mirror, hit the revolt before you make a play, just other random trap decks, you know. For a while I was playing Twin Twister over this card, and I might consider going back to that. It's a lot better against, you know, prank kids for being able to use it during standby phase and prevent them from fusion summoning. Hopefully they're not going to get to the point of having a Battle Butler like set up with a fusion spell, because you play so many hand traps, so hopefully you're going to be able to stop them from getting there. But, you know, obviously it happens. And the reason I played these instead of Twin Twisters and Cosmic, I wanted a more mass back row removal, so Cosmic wasn't really a consideration. I wanted either Twins or these cards. And the reason that I went with these is because, like I said, Tribrigade kind of has a card advantage problem in some aspects, and I wanted a card that I could just play it and wipe the back row as opposed to discarding. Then these, obviously, when you're going first, these were incredible. Just, you know, you set up your Revolt and your Appaloosa, and then you flip this. It's very hard to break. The last 2 cards I played in the side were 2 Zodiac monsters. So I'll just go point by point. First off, why would I want to side the Zodiac monsters? Well, I realized in testing that the Zodiac monsters were a lot better going second than they were going first ever since Dryden got banned. So what you can do going first, obviously, if you play the Zodiacs, is normal this and use its effect to send another Zodiac, and then Shock and 9 the other Zodiac back, make Fairjit, and then hopefully have a Tribrigade to combo with in your hand. That seemed pretty weak as compared to Cat, because that was the slot I was debating on, was either Cat or Zodiacs. Because Cat will give you the entire setup on its own. You don't need other cards. And they both kind of lose to the same cards. You know, if you normal Rat and use effect, they can Veiler, they can Ash, they can Imperm, they can Gamma. All those cards that hit Cat also hit this. So what I want to be doing with the Zodiacs, instead of playing them turn 1 when I go first, is to normal summon them and make Zeus and break boards that way. And so I decided to side them, and then I would never have to play a game where they were in my main deck when I was going first, if I didn't want them to be. So that's why I would side the Zodiacs. Why I elected to play these, I guess first off, why would I play just 2 and not play Barrage? The Barrage would be the third card I would play. It's pretty much just a space issue. I didn't want to dedicate 3 slots to it. I wanted the cards that I did side to be really effective because I could search them with Tanky. So, you know, even though these are 2 extra deck or 2 side deck slots, they actually go farther than that because I essentially have 5 copies in my deck, games 2 and 3. The reason I elected these 2 monsters, Wrap here, because you can Tanky for it, summon it, and use effect, and you're threatening to make Chalkonine plays, as opposed to if I was just to summon a Zoo, then the only route I can go is the Zeus. And so it can bait other negates, or it can let you pivot into other plays if the Zeus line doesn't work out. Thoroughblade, because I didn't think that an effect under my Zoo monster would be very relevant. In theory, I could do Ram, and then when I overlay on top of Ram, if for Borbo, if they try and imperm my Borbo when I go battle phase, then I could stop that. But it didn't seem like it would be too relevant. I thought that more often than not, my Thoroughblade would come up. The reason I wanted Thoroughblade is because if, God forbid, I drew both my Zoo monsters, then with Thoroughblade, I could still threaten Chalkonine plays by discarding the Rat. Also, it's just the biggest Zodiac. Hitting for 16 under Borbo is pretty strong. So that's why I went with these 2. This extra deck now. Play the standard 5 Tribrigades. Some cat builds will play more of, you know, any one of these. But I didn't find it necessary. It never came up throughout the day. There was one time where I could have summoned another Fairjit, but it ended up being fine, just playing the 5. Other cards that you summon off Tribrigades, some Graveyard Hate and Doom Eagle, which I never summoned, but it's there. Ancient Warrior as spot removal or interruption. Very good card. This came up a ton. Other kind of ubiquitous Tribrigade Link monsters. We got the Almirage for, you know, the cat play, the kit, the Nerval, just linking them off to get their effects. And then the 2 4s, which you pretty much make every single game, it feels like. This one you're going first, and this one you're ending the game. Last Link monster I played was an Ausa. This was my 1 slot that I could play whatever, so I thought about Unicorn, I thought about, you know, a 3rd Omen, you know, whatever. But elected to do Ausa to, you know, take my opponent's Tribrigade cards, or Zodiacs if they were playing them. You can, in the mirror, this card's pretty good. You can take Karis, you can take Fairjit, you can take Rugal. If you take one of the Link monsters with this, it's just an access code. This will come up a lot when you go, you have like an Almirage on board or something, and you normal summon Karis and use effect and they negate it. You can pivot into this and make more plays. Also, sometimes you just link into this to end on because it'll float. At least if it dies, you can search Cat or a Tribrigade Karis. Then the last 4 monsters were the Xyz. We got 3 Zodiac monsters and a Zeus. Shoutouts to Giovanni for hooking it up with the Starlight. The reason that you play 3 Zeus should be pretty obvious. You want 4 materials under Zeus. And the only other consideration for a Zoo monster here would be Hammer Kong, which really doesn't do much at all. So these Zeus are pretty obvious for why I'd play them. So yeah, that's pretty much the deck. I will say that my hand trap lineup ended up being not the greatest. I think I would have liked to have Imperm in my deck. But so I might rework the hand traps. As far as the theory goes of maining Rescue Cat and siding into the Zodiacs for when you're going second, it was incredible. It was really good. So I'd probably continue doing that. But yeah, that's the deck. Thank you guys for watching, and again, shout outs to my team. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys later.